I used to believe I had the kind of life most people only hope for. A steady job, a warm home filled with laughter, two beautiful children, and a wife I trusted with my whole heart. My brother was always around two family dinners, birthdays, weekends together. He wasn't just my brother. He was my best friend. Blood like that, I thought, could never betray you. Looking back now, that belief feels painfully naive. The truth is, betrayal doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it slips in quietly, wearing familiar faces and hiding behind smiles you've trusted for years. I didn't see the cracks forming beneath my so-called perfect life. I didn't notice how close they had become or how distant my wife was growing from me. By the time I realized something was wrong, it was already too late. What followed didn't just destroy my marriage, it turned my own family into strangers and forced me into the hardest fight of my life, a fight for my children. Growing up, my brother and I were inseparable. We shared a room, clothes, secrets, and dreams. He was the one who stood up for me at school and the first person I called whenever life got hard. Our parents raised us to believe that family was sacred, that blood meant loyalty, no matter what. I carried that belief into adulthood without question. When I got married, my brother naturally became part of our daily lives. He came over for dinner at least twice a week, helped fix things around the house, and played with my kids like they were his own. My wife welcomed him warmly. She often said how lucky I was to have such a caring brother, and I agreed without hesitation. I trusted them both completely. I never felt the need to question a late-night conversation in the kitchen or a shared laugh that lasted a little too long. To me, it was just family being family. I believed my home was a safe place, protected by love, trust, and shared history. That blind trust made me comfortable, too comfortable. And without realizing it, I handed my heart and my family into the hands of the two people who would hurt me the most. At first, the changes were almost invisible small, easy to dismiss. My wife started spending more time on her phone, hiding messages when I walked into the room. She'd laugh at something on her screen and quickly put it down whenever I asked. I told myself it was normal, work stress, friend chats, nothing to worry about. Then came the little excuses. My brother suddenly needed more help at home, showing up unexpectedly or lingering longer than usual. Sometimes I'd catch them exchanging looks that didn't feel friendly, a spark of something I couldn't name. I brushed it off. After all, they were family. I thought maybe I was imagining things, letting paranoia creep in where trust should be. There were moments that should have rung alarms. My wife became distant, less affectionate, less engaged in our conversations. My brother started avoiding eye contact, dodging small talk, and making up reasons to leave. Even so, I ignored it. I told myself I was overreacting, that my family was solid, that loyalty ran deeper than any suspicion. But deep down, a knot of unease had begun to grow in my chest. Something was wrong. Something I refused to see until it was far too late. It hit me like a freight train, the kind of revelation that leaves your body frozen, your mind refusing to accept what your eyes are telling you. I wasn't prepared for it, not in the slightest. I had been going about my day, trusting my wife, trusting my brother, believing that family meant loyalty. And then I saw the message on my wife's phone, one she had carelessly left unlocked while she thought I was in the kitchen. The words were simple, but their weight crushed me. Declarations of love, plans to meet secretly, and a familiarity that should have been mine alone. My hand shook as I scrolled, each message more damning than the last. My brother's name was all over it, casual yet intimate, a reminder that betrayal often comes dressed in familiarity. I confronted her that night. I don't remember the exact words I used. Anger, hurt, disbelief all tumbled out at once. She didn't deny it. She admitted everything, her voice calm, almost attached, as if speaking the truth somehow lessened the sin. My brother stayed silent, avoiding my gaze, offering nothing but weak excuses that only fueled my rage. In that moment, my world shattered. My wife, the person I trusted with my heart, had been lying to me. My brother, the man I grew up loving, the one I thought would protect me, had betrayed that bond. The home I built with love and trust suddenly felt like a cage, walls closing in, suffocating me. And most painfully of all, I thought of my children, innocent and unaware, caught in the crossfire of betrayal I could never have imagined. The betrayal didn't stop at my marriage, it cut deeper, straight through the bond one thought unbreakable with my brother. I felt as if the ground beneath me had vanished, leaving me tumbling in a void of shock, anger, and grief. Every memory I had of family, of loyalty, of shared laughter, now felt like a lie. I couldn't understand how two people I loved so deeply could conspire against me. My mind replayed moments I had taken for granted: dinners, holidays, casual jokes, and each one now carried a sting of deceit. The person I trusted most in the world had chosen someone else over me, and worse, it was my own blood. At home, the children sensed attention. Their laughter faded, replaced by questions I couldn't fully answer without breaking down myself. I wanted to shield them, but I felt powerless, overwhelmed by a storm I never saw coming. Anger battled with sorrow. Part of me wanted to lash out, to punish them for the pain they caused. Another part just wanted to disappear, to vanish from a world that no longer made sense. I realized, in that dark moment, that life would never be the same. My perfect world was gone, replaced by a double betrayal that left me emotionally shattered and staring at a fight I hadn't asked for but could never walk away from: a fight for my children. Just when I thought the betrayal had reached its limit, she dropped the unthinkable demand. My wife, calm, almost clinical, looked me in the eyes and said I had to let my brother adopt our children. At first, I couldn't even process her words. My mind went blank, then raced, then froze again. She tried to explain herself, saying it was for the children's future, that my brother could provide stability, love, and guidance that she believed I somehow couldn't. She framed it as practical, reasonable, even noble. But all I could feel was rage and disbelief. My children, the ones I had nurtured, protected, and loved every single day, were being offered to the person who had betrayed me in the worst possible way. I stared at her, my voice caught in my throat. I wanted to scream, to hit something, to make her understand the sheer cruelty of her words. How could she even suggest that the man who destroyed our marriage should step into my role as a father? In that moment, fear gripped me, not for myself, but for my kids. The thought of losing them, of seeing them in the hands of someone who had caused such pain, was unbearable. I realized then that this fight wasn't just about betrayal. It was about protecting the most precious part of my life, my children. And I knew, deep down, I would never back down. The moment her words sank in, I knew this wouldn't be resolved with arguments or tears. It was going to be a battle, both legal and emotional. I sought out a lawyer, trying to understand my rights, trying to prepare for a fight I never imagined I'd face against my own family. Every conversation, every piece of advice reminded me that this was not just about betrayal. It was about protecting my children from being taken from me. Court dates were scheduled, papers filed, and my emotions ran wild. Anger, grief, and helplessness collided every time I saw my wife or brother. My brother tried to present himself as the better option, the stable caregiver, the one who loved the kids. But I knew the truth. He was the source of the pain tearing our family apart. Even outside the courtroom, the emotional toll was immense. Nights were sleepless, my children asking questions I struggled to answer without breaking down. Friends and relatives offered advice, sympathy, or judgment, but nothing could prepare me for the constant anxiety and heartache of seeing the people I loved most caught in the middle of this betrayal. Through it all, one thing became crystal clear. I would fight not out of spite, but out of love. My children's happiness, safety, and bond with me were worth every ounce of struggle, every sleepless night, every battle ahead. I realized that this fight wasn't just about winning a legal battle. It was about standing up for my children, for my role as their father. I gathered evidence, documented everything, and leaned on the support of friends and family who understood the truth. Every court session, every meeting with lawyers, I spoke not out of anger but from the heart, showing that my children's well-being was my only priority. I reminded myself that no betrayal, no lie, could erase the bond one had built with them. I would protect them no matter the cost. After a long and painful struggle, the court ruled in my favor. My children would remain with me. My wife and brother faced the consequences of their actions, and though the wounds ran deep, I finally felt a sense of justice. Slowly, life began to regain a fragile normalcy. Laughter returned to our home, tentative at first, but genuine. I focus on rebuilding trust and creating a safe, loving environment for my children. The betrayal would always leave a scar, but standing firm had preserved what mattered most. My family, my children were safe, and I was determined to heal together. Betrayal leaves marks that never fully fade. Even now, years later, I feel the echoes of what happened to trust shattered, the love twisted, the family fractured. But through it all, I've learned something powerful. Resilience isn't about forgetting the pain. It's about protecting what truly matters despite it. My children are my anchor, my reason to keep moving forward, to keep loving, and to keep believing the good that still exists in life. They remind me that even after the deepest wounds, hope, strength, and love can survive and even thrive.